Each generation of modern Pokemon includes some kind of gimmick. Mega Evolution, Z-Moves, Dynamax, and Terastallization each bring a different flavor to their respective games. But besides Dynamax, Pokemon Sword and Shield added Gigantamax, a mechanic that kinda fell flat in our opinion. What's up fellas, I'm Matt, and today Elias and I are going to talk about why we're not big fans of Gigantamax. Alright, let's get started.
What's up, I'm Elias, and when a Pokemon Dynamaxes, they grow big, gain more HP, and all their moves are upgraded to max moves. Attacking moves become stronger, usually, and they gain a guaranteed secondary effect. Status moves become Max Guard, an upgraded version of Protect. The transformation lasts 3 turns and can only be used once per battle. Every Pokemon has access to Dynamax except for the legendary trio of Zacian, Zamazenta, and Eternatus.
Gigantamax is almost exactly the same. Only a select few species are capable of it, and they each get separate Gigantamax forms. One gameplay difference is the Gigantamax Pokemon get signature G-Max moves. And that's it. That's one of the main issues we have with Gigantamax. It's just way too similar to Dynamax.
Mega Evolution is another gimmick that involves form changes, but they were way more exciting compared to Gigantamax. Only a select few Pokemon got Megas, but Game Freak did a lot more to differentiate them from their original forms. The first thing they did was improve the Pokemon stat spreads. Each Mega Evolution had a base stat total that's 100 points higher than their base form. Some of them simply got stronger and faster, some of them functioned completely differently in battle, and some of them got worse. Oops.
Most Mega Evolutions also got new abilities. Standard Lucario's abilities are kind of whatever, but Mega Lucario got Adaptability, which is great. Other highlights include Swift Swim Mega Swampert, Refrigerate Mega Glalie, and Huge Power Mega Mawile. Mega Evolutions changed the game, because a lot of Pokemon were made stronger in several different ways. Nearly every team had a Mega on it in Gen 6 and 7. Gigantamax just wasn't as impactful.
Gigantamax basically just boils down to...
Oh my god.
Gigantamax basically just boils down to Dynamax with a fancy new look and fancy new moves. It's just not much of an upgrade over Dynamax, whereas Mega Evolution was a huge boon for a lot of regular Pokemon. Not only that, but a lot of the G-Max moves aren't even any good. In the vast majority of cases, Mega Evolutions were stronger than their base forms, get off my screen Garchomp, but G-Max moves are often worse than the standard max moves. Is Mega Garchomp actually worse than normal Garchomp?
Competitively, yes. Casually, no.
Okay.
Because, Mega Garchomp...
Next.
As an example, the standard normal type max move is Max Strike, which lowers the opponent's speed by 1 stage. Having a speed control move can be really nice, since faster Pokemon move first. That's what makes moves like Sticky Web and Icy Wind so valuable, but I digress. But if Eevee has the Gigantamax factor, it's not able to use this move.
A Gigantamax Eevee's normal type moves become G-Max Cuddle instead, smiley face. This move infatuates your opponent as long as they're the opposite gender. We've talked about this on the show before, but gender-based mechanics are terrible in Pokemon. The genders of your opponent's Pokemon are effectively random, so the chance that this move's secondary effect will even work is a coin flip.
Actually, scratch that. It's even worse than a coin flip. Most Pokemon have known genders, but not all of them do. Genderless Pokemon are immune to infatuation entirely, so G-Max Cuddle has no secondary effect against a Starmie. That means Eevee's G-Max move is unreliable at best. On top of that, the Gigantamax factor prevents Eevee from evolving. You know, the #1 thing Eevee is known for? You're better off using a regular Dynamax Eevee, and running the standard move Max Strike instead. Or, you know, you can just take that regular Eevee and evolve it. Hey Elias, what's your favorite evolution?
It's probably Umbreon.
For me, it's gotta be Jolteon.
Jolteon is pretty cool, but it's not my favorite. I think Glaceon is pretty high up there too. Here's another terrible one. The standard fighting type max move is Max Knuckle. That move raises the user's attack by 1 stage, as well as its ally in a double battle. But Machamp's move G-Max Chicago Strike is worse in almost every way. This move boosts your critical hit ratio by 1 stage.
Starting in Gen 6, critical hits do 50% more damage than regular hits. So if you use G-Max Chi Strike, you're more likely to get that boost on your next move. But assuming your attack stat hasn't been modified already, Max Knuckle's guaranteed to give you a 50% boost. Sure, critical hits can break through defense boosts and attack drops, but most of the time, raising your attack stat is going to be better than raising your crit chance. You'll do more damage on average that way. Max Knuckle is a way more reliable way of boosting your damage output. So Gigantamax Machamp just isn't worth using at all.
The standard Dragon type max move is Max Wormwind, which lowers the opponent's attack by 1 stage, as well as their allies' attack in a double battle. But if Duraludon has the Gigantamax factor, it can use G-Max Depletion instead. This move has a secondary effect that's similar to Spite. It takes 2 power points from the last move the target used. That's just not very useful, because power points are rarely a factor in formats where Gigantamax Duraludon is allowed.
Duraludon comes up a lot in our videos, doesn't it?
Favorite Pokemon of MEPlaysGames confirmed.
Dynamax and Gigantamax were banned in Smogon just a month after Sword and Shield came out, so Gmax depletion is a complete non-factor in a lot of popular singles metagames. In double battles, Gigantamax is allowed, but you still don't want to use Skyscraper Duraludon. Power points just aren't that big a factor in double battles, because they're much faster paced than single battles.
Just as an example, the final game of the World Championships in 2022 lasted 5 turns. Assuming you use PP ups and PP maxes, every single move in the game has more power points than that. The only exception is Sketch, which just has 1 power point, but you really should not be bringing that move to a VGC battle. Other than that, every move can have at least 8 power points, but most of them have far more than that. The battles are just too short for you to run out of power points in most cases. In any given VGC battle, the 4 Pokemon you choose for the battle have access to a total of 16 moves, and those moves add up to well over 100 power points. Gmax depletion will barely put a dent in that number. On top of that, if the target hasn't used a move yet, Gmax depletion just won't take any power points at all. Max Wormwind is the better move by far.
I have thought about making a video about Duraludon and Archaludon.
25 minutes of Caterpie and Scatterbug.
We're gonna get to that. I just absolutely dread writing that script, to be honest with you.
Don't worry, dude.
Another one of the worst Gmax moves would have to be Orbeetles. The standard Psychic-type Max move is Max Mindstorm, which activates Psychic Terrain for 5 turns. That's a solid move, because Terrains boost the power of one type alongside other benefits. We're just gonna pretend Misty Terrain doesn't exist for a second. Since you need a Psychic-type move to use Max Mindstorm, Orbeetle's virtually guaranteed to get some mileage out of the terrain, because its subsequent Psychic moves will be 30% stronger.
But if Orbeetle has the Gigantamax factor, its Psychic-type moves become Gmax Gravitas. This move activates Gravity for 5 turns instead, which is 1 2/3 quintillion times less useful. The Gravity effect grounds all Pokemon on the field, meaning Flying types and Levitate users can be hit by Ground-type moves. It also makes moves about 67% more accurate, and neither effect is that useful for Orbeetle. Gmax Gravitas. Gravitas.
Gravitas.
Oh my god, now I want mashed potatoes with gravy.
I'm making mashed potatoes tonight. You want some? Well, we spent the next 3 minutes talking about mashed potatoes. That's not what you came here for, so I'm skipping it. First off, Orbeetle can't learn any ground-type moves whatsoever, so grounding your opponent is only useful here in a double battle, and your teammate knows a ground attack. The accuracy boost is also not that great, because most of Orbeetle's moves are 100% accurate already. The only exceptions are Hyper Beam and Giga Impact, no. Zen Headbutt, Orbeetle's a special attacker, so no. Supersonic, god no. And Hypnosis, meh.
The exact accuracy multiplier is 6,000... Jesus Christ, dude. 6,840 over 4,096. So Gravity would make Hypnosis 100.2% accurate. That's nice on paper, but you can't use regular status moves while you're Dynamaxed or Gigantamaxed. So if you wanted to use a perfectly accurate sleep move, you would have to Gigantamax, use Gmax Gravitas, wait to return back to normal, and then use Hypnosis before the intense gravity runs out. That's just too many hoops to jump through. Your attacking moves also never miss while Gigantamaxed, so the accuracy boost makes no difference on that front. Orbeetle doesn't benefit from this move at all when it's big, and the benefits when it's normal sized are still very limited.
Boy, we're still on page 3. We're great at YouTube, aren't we?
Yes.
Gigantamax positions itself as a sort of Super Dynamax, and it doesn't do a very good job of filling that role. If a lot of the Gigantamax forms are no better or even worse than their Dynamax counterparts, why should I bother going out and finding them? We've been comparing Gigantamax and Mega Evolution during this video, so it's worth noting here that not every Mega is a straight upgrade over their base form either. The most notable example is the aforementioned Garchomp, which gets 10 points slower if it Mega Evolves. That means in competitive play, it loses a lot of speed advantages. Since the Mega Stone takes up its item slot, you also can't give it something else to hold, unlike regular Garchomp, which is more flexible in that regard.
But speed stats and held items aren't nearly as important in casual play. You're usually going to outspeed AI opponents either way, whether your base speed stat is 92 or 102. Mega Garchomp hits like an absolute truck, thanks to its base attack stat of 1 billion, so the Mega form is perfectly fine for post-game shenanigans. But several Gigantamax forms are absolutely rotten no matter what context you put them in.
Not only are many of the Gmax moves underwhelming, but you have to go out of your way to get the Gigantamax forms. Only certain members of each species have what's known as the Gigantamax factor. These Pokemon can only be obtained in a few ways. Wild Pokemon will only have the Gigantamax factor if you find them in max raid battles. Starting with the Isle of Armor DLC, you can also feed your regular Pokemon Max Soup, which will also give them the factor. The long-term plan for the channel includes both of us, yes?
Yeah, sure. Probably.
Oh dang, Elias is actually gonna retire in 3 months.
Or like 4. I'm just kidding. But in order to get max soup in the first place, you have to find max mushrooms. There are 2 ways to obtain them. When you beat Clara or Avery the second time, you get 3 clusters of max mushrooms, which is enough to make 1 bowl of max soup. You can also get mushroom clusters by doing max raid battles. Each time you complete a raid den by knocking out the Pokemon, 1 cluster of mushrooms will spawn. Somewhere. There are 4 locations where they can pop up across the Isle of Armor, and you just have to go find them. Have fun.
But guess what, fellas? The Max Soup can also remove the Gigantamax factor from Pokemon. It's like the game knows full well that a lot of G-Max forms just aren't worth using. So if you feed a Gigantamax Eevee some soup, you can turn it back to a regular Eevee, and actually evolve it into something worth using in battle. If you feed a Gigantamax Orbeetle some soup, it'll get a Psychic-type Max move that doesn't suck. For more videos like this, subscribe to MEPlaysGames, and consider becoming a channel member. For as low as 99 cents a month, you'll get early access to our long-form videos, a shout-out at the end of each video, and you can see exclusive Let's Plays. Right now we're playing through Pokemon X.
Aside from that, the distribution of Pokemon that got Gigantamax forms is kinda whack. There are 12 Gen 1 Pokemon that got a G-Max form, and 18 Gen 8 Pokemon. The only other Gigantamax Pokemon are Garbodor and Melmetal. Gens 5 and 7 only got 1 Gigantamax form apiece, and the other 4 generations got no representation whatsoever.
The competitive difference is there being 2 people, to be fair. Like, I feel like that's the main selling point of our show.
M&J TV?
M&J TV is 1 guy.
Used to be 2.
Mega Evolutions did have this problem as well, but to a much lesser extent. Every generation that existed at the time got at least 1 Mega, but most of them were from the first 4 gens. Dino is the only Gen 5 Pokemon with a Mega, and Diancie is the only one from Gen 6. I'm not the only one that finds that kind of strange, right? Game Freak added a whole new mechanic, made it a focal point of the game's story and marketing, and then almost none of the new Pokemon can use it. Sure, Mega Evolution mostly breathed new life into older Pokemon, but it'd be nice if more Kalos natives could take part. We're getting a little off track here.
The comparisons we've made between Gigantamax and Mega Evolutions aren't perfect, and we'll acknowledge that. Gigantamax is kind of a gimmick within a gimmick, but Mega Evolution is its own standalone thing. But both mechanics introduce brand new forms to the game, and we think Megas did a much better job of that. Mega Evolutions added a lot more to the Pokemon that got them, compared to Gigantamax. Imagine if Gen 10 came out and said, hey, check out this new Lumineon form. It's got sunglasses and it can learn Flamethrower now. That wouldn't be very exciting. Actually, I think it would be kinda cool. Game Freak, get on it.
Elias is being a contrarian on the internet. Everybody throw tomatoes at him.
I just bought tomatoes yesterday, actually.
Of course, it's important to keep in mind that Gigantamax isn't the main generational gimmick of Gen 8. Dynamax isn't perfect or anything, but it does give Pokemon Sword and Shield its own unique flavor. That's what these gimmicks are all about at the end of the day. Most people aren't going to be fans of all of them, but they give each game more of an identity. So Gigantamax isn't a cardinal sin or anything, but we thought it fell kinda short.
Here's one thing we find fun though. Each Pokemon has height and weight measurements in the Pokédex, which gives you a rough idea of how big they are. Wailord is lighter than air, but we don't worry about that. Anyway, Gigantamax Pokemon are apparently impossible to measure because the dex just lists a lower bound for their height, and they gave up on weight entirely. As far as we know, Gigantamax Centiskorch is the second tallest, longest Pokemon, with a lower bound of 246 feet and 1 inch. The only Pokemon that's known to be bigger is Eternamax Eternatus at 328 feet and 1 inch. And when a Pokemon Dynamaxes, they grow big, gain more HP, and all their...
Wrong.
And when a Pokemon Dynamaxes...
Extremely loud, incorrect buzzer. You're fired.
And when a Pokemon Oh no.
Oh no. That was that weird World Series. Those Rangers Diamondbacks, which
right.
absolutely
Okay, yeah.
Nobody saw coming.
Nor did anybody see at all.
I had the World Series on in the background while I did like jigsaw puzzles.
I did not.
Alright fellas, Elias is going to prison after this video.
Oh well.
Well, it was nice knowing you, man. I'll be sure to visit you every 7.5 months.
Thank you. Yeah, maybe I can record from jail.
Well, that's all we got for today. Leave a comment about Dusclops. Consider becoming a channel member to help support the show. Alongside all the other perks, we're gonna start posting deleted scenes for members, including today's full mashed potato tangent. And as always, shoutouts to our existing members: Starkid Phil, Elias, don't worry about it, Skintist, Summon Sloth, Lord Matthew, Victor Manzo, Saphira, Shard the Duraludon, Kai the Memer, Gavin Eric, Patrick Chipman, Kitstay, Catalia, JVGL, Daniel, 2Q to be straight, Ethan Parks, Toad355, Akruda, and Fate. We'll see you all next time. Good night, fellas. Sleep well.